r/AskReddit by Redmond ETS. What is the dumbest reason why someone at your workplace got fired? Guy tried to hit on the girl that helped us clean up after closing time by inviting her to the back for some fun times, just me and you baby. Girl was 15 years old and the daughter of the owner. I remember once being on a delivery to a bar, very big bald owner there looking intimidating. We were waiting by the front bar for someone to open a storage room and I look over and see a photo of him between two beautiful blondes in Oktoberfest outfits. I made a comment like, "They're a bit of alright." He turned to me, looked at the picture, looked me dead in the eye and went, "Those are my daughters." Didn't say another word the whole rest of the delivery. A co-worker infested the office with fleas, but he didn't get fired until he did it a second time. The first time it happened, the boss closed down the office and had an exterminator come in and told the guy, "Here's a laptop. You telecommute now." It turned out, he lived in a trailer with over a dozen stray cats. He kept taking in these strays and just not doing anything for them. No shots, no flea treatments, not even a bath. So pretty soon, the whole place was infested with fleas. He just didn't realize how bad it was because he was on some cocktail of medications that made him smell odd. Apparently the smell made the fleas not want to bite him. They just got in his clothes and he carried them to work. After a few days, he was already complaining to my boss that the laptop didn't work right. My boss tried to send me to this guy's trailer to fix whatever was wrong, but I said I would rather quit than set foot in Fleapalooza 2012. So he told my co-worker to just deal with it himself. A couple weeks later, the guy came into the office to pick up his paycheck. In the 30 seconds he was inside, he infested the place again. After that, everyone threw a fit. The boss only fired the guy to avoid a full-scale revolt. New office assistant was asked to drop some laptops off at FedEx to be shipped. Come to find out she literally just walked in, saw the line was too long and just left them on the counter. She expected FedEx to know what to do with them. We have no idea what happened to them. They decided to keep her, which was a mistake because she ended up emailing all of our competitors highly sensitive information by mistake. They thought there was 10 inches in a foot and did a bunch of overheight trucking permits wrong. Example, writing 13.6 feet at 13 feet 6 inches and ended up delaying the shipment of a crane for a critical construction job which got the entire trucking company blacklisted. Had a co-worker who had a princess mentality. She thought she could do whatever she wanted one day and decided to test the waters. She decided to start leaving early without clocking out. The first 1 or 2 times people were fine doing it for her because maybe she was forgetful. However, she'd leave at 12 or 1 and then text someone around 5 or 6 to log her out. Then it became repetitive. Leadership didn't do crap. Then one day, she walked into the office kitchen, took someone's lunch out of the fridge and decided it was hers. She saw it was a sandwich but wasn't sure what it was and literally walked up to the very co-worker whose lunch she stole and asked him, "Hey, what's in this sandwich?" She didn't know it was his. Lost his marbles. That's what got her. Asking someone what was in the sandwich he stole. Asking the very person who made that lunch. They finally decided to get her for time clock fraud too. Did a minor safety infraction 10 minutes into the job. I pointed it out. He stormed off saying, "Nobody tells me what to do." Had a friend call in for him. Mike got run over by a car. He's dead. The next day when I fired him he demanded his last check. I told him we would send it to the next of kin. What the fudge was his game plan here? Like what are you supposed to gain from that excuse for missing work? When you run out of sick days, just call in dead. He just didn't log into work. It was a remote job, he was new, we weren't expecting a lot of him. But he wouldn't log in or respond to Teams messages asking how he was doing in an entire day. Honestly pretty stupid, like, you don't even have to go to work. He pantsed a guy in the middle of the office. Literally pulled a co-worker's pants down in front of the full office. Underpants came along for the ride. The pantser was fired. The pantsy was off work for 6 weeks due to distress. Dude I worked with at an outdoor retail store lit off a can of bear spray indoors during business hours. I wasn't there at the time, but as the outdoor supervisor, I got called in to deal with the mess. Thankfully, the idiot fired it into a corner behind the gear counter, so he mostly got himself. However, bear spray comes out in a kind of dense fog, unlike regular pepper spray that comes out in a stream. The whole store had to be evacuated and it took like 4 bottles of neutralizer to get the carpet clean again. Dum Dum claimed he dropped it by accident, but the security camera showed him very clearly popping the safety and hitting the thumb trigger. During his out processing, the GM and I showed him the video and asked what was actually going through his head. He said, "I wanted to see how bad it was. It was really bad. The intrusive thoughts won, I guess." Last I heard, the dummy had bought a tow truck and started a towing business. I have a few from people I worked with. One guy stood at the bottom of the stairs and pretended he was fiddling with his phone but was trying to get up skirt pictures of the women walking down. A woman coming down the stairs saw what he was doing and called security. That was a weird HR experience. The guy, who in previous interactions seemed pretty normal, was creepy as hell. Only time while I was there that we had to follow threat procedures. Didn't have to worry about him very long though because the cops found a lot of those types of videos on his personal computer and apparently some underage stuff too, so he got locked up. I had to fire a woman because she would not stop trying to get the people who reported to her to buy her kids' school fundraiser items. It was against company policy for managers to directly solicit, but there was a way to have an admin post things so that it was blinded. That way people didn't feel pressured to purchase things from the person responsible for their compensation increases and bonuses. There was a front desk admin at this one place where I worked, who was generally unpleasant, but very good at her job, so that wasn't enough to let her go. A data analyst who was on maternity leave came into the office with her baby. We all gathered near the front because it was a quick visit. I asked the data analyst how her husband was doing. Poor guy was in a car accident the week before, and the admin went off for 5 minutes about how could anyone ask about her husband when it was the woman who did all the work and had to carry the baby and breastfeed and stay up all night when it cried. When she tired out, the CFO looked at the head of HR and said, "How about now?" Admin was gone within the hour. I worked at Dollar General. Pretty hard to get fired there. My co-worker got caught selling crack to customers. They just nicely asked him not to anymore. Half my co-workers were drunk or high. If you get fired from Dollar General, you really screwed up. A friend's co-worker got fired for paying prostitutes with the company's credit card. Smelled a stool a woman had been sitting on in front of a room full of people, like it was a fine and normal thing to do. I work for the Canada Revenue Agency, and we are instructed to never look at our own file upon being hired and told in no uncertain terms that it will be immediately flagged and would be the end of your career. At least once a year around tax season I will get a memo reminding us of this because several people looked up their own file. Plugging your phone into your computer is also a big no-no, because it can store information or compromise the network. I get yearly reminders about that too. I once watched a co-worker plug her phone in. I told her to take it out, but it was too late and she was escorted out within the hour. He took a turn too fast on the fork truck. Got 2 wheels lifted off the ground. Supervisor told him to cut it out and drive safe. 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 Nothing in this place is safe. And then he spent 20 minutes running around the plant floor tripping alarms and setting off the emergency air horns to prove that none of it worked. All of it worked. He finally left when the super threatened to call the cops. Everyone was real confused about his outburst. Until we found the half-empty bottle of tequila out behind the dumpster. Sounds like Frank Grimes' final run in that Simpsons episode Homer's Enemy. We have a machine shop and had just hired a new machinist. On his second day, he stole a bar of metal at the end of his shift. When confronted about it, he said he sold it for scrap. The scrap value of the bar was less than he made per hour. Drunk driving their company service vehicle over 100 miles per hour at 1:30 AM from a bar. Video showed them weaving all over the place. Thank goodness they didn't kill someone. Smoked weed before work, got on an airport tug towing a brand new piece of equipment, and smashed into the engine of an airplane. A lady lost her wallet and someone turned it in. When she picked it up from security, she noticed $200 was missing from the wallet. Security replayed the camera videos and a security guard that found the wallet had taken the money out and pocketed it. This was Simone Biles' mom. This happened too. An employee dropped his wallet outside of the cafeteria doors, and a security guard watched on camera another employee finding the wallet a bit later and taking money out of the wallet and walking away. A bank teller, previous co-worker, was faking referrals to bankers by saying she spoke to clients about getting them to sit with a banker to open savings accounts, credit cards, etc. when the clients were just considered walk-ins. An overnight manager did not know her drawer was going to be audited the following morning and left work with $300 from her drawer. Management still needed to do the audit and she did not return the money in time. God, I have so many. I work at a factory. We use a temporary worker system where a separate agency will do the hiring process. They work at the factory, and usually if they show up and do a passable job, they get hired. The bar is low for a reason though. We had these two utility workers get into some kind of sports related argument on the line one day. One is temp, one is not. They start to get loud enough that people are looking around corners to see what's up. Temp guy does a thing where it looks like he is doing an exercise to touch his toes and pulls a knife out of his shoes. He sends the people nearest to him running in panic as he attacks the other utility guy. Niffy gets pulled to the ground and disarmed. Cops get called, but he runs away before they show up. Immediately fired, and I never found out honestly if he was arrested or not. The guy who was attacked almost lost his job anyway because of a BS no tolerance policy. Called in and said he was going to be late because he had a job interview at another company. This was very long ago, but one young kid thought it would be funny to put a hot dog through his pants zipper and showing a waitress his penis with it. She thought it was absurd but not enough to tell management on him. Waitress would later tell this story to one of the higher ups while they were just hanging out outside of work over drinks. The lady didn't take too kindly to the story and decided to pursue it further and got the dude fired. Most memorable ones. Janitor tried to steal a printer by carrying it out in a black trash bag as trash. The bag ripped and it fell out in view of many people. Guy plugged in an external hard drive to his work computer at work to listen to music, but forgot about the kiddie stuff he had on it that was found when IT ran a scan on the device. Manager got kicked out for using company phone to snap pics of his schlong while at work to send to some skank and got nudes from her. That was not long after he also got caught in a prostitution sting wearing company shirt. Worked at a place that rotated new staff constantly. Here's a few I saw get sacked. Fly tipped his rubbish from a job install, whole van load, down a country lane, left all information on all the boxes, then claimed he took it to the recycling place but they followed him and dumped it down a country lane. He was on a tracked van and drove down the lane it was found at. Crashed the forklift into the warehouse door, complained he was too hot and couldn't cope, then started punching himself in the head. Left and never came back. Sat down and watched Jeremy Kyle in the staff room every day for 2 weeks, didn't do any work, and was sacked. Wouldn't do any work, sat there eating food from the breakfast van every day, and destroyed his desk by drilling holes into it or stabbing screwdrivers through it. Stole a stupid amount of Logitech equipment from the warehouse, posted it only on eBay with his skate in the background that had his name written on, then claimed it wasn't him. Stole around 40 grand worth of equipment. Walked up to a female member of staff, put his rear end basically on her arm and farted. Didn't want to do any work and was sacked after 1 day. Attended site after doing cocaine the night before, was drug tested and failed obviously. Staff said if you don't want to fail the test, then walk out, but he did it anyway. Walked in and quit instantly with no notice, pissed into the back of his van over all the stock that had to be binned. Used to piss into his van a lot so there was jellified piss all over the place. General manager new to the company walked in and told all the women they aren't qualified to do their jobs. Sacked instantly. Decided to buy a pumpkin from the shop and try carve it in the office with a knife. Then said to the top manager, "Who are you?" when she asked what he was doing. One guy didn't like a woman in his office. She was meant to train under him. Made constant complaints about her and refused to train her whilst saying, "I don't want a freaking woman in my office." Went on for a while with constant arguing and she was sacked. Found out later on when she came to hand the keys into me with a big smile on her face that they paid her 20 grand not to sue the company. Engineer didn't want to work for the company anymore. Decided to smash his van into the back of an old lady's car, break his laptop and his phone all within a couple of days, then was sacked off. No idea why he didn't just leave. Where the fudge do you work? Audio-visual company in the UK. Worked there for 7 years. It was freaking stupid. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. If you like videos like this one, why not like and subscribe for more? Have a nice evening. Tell your friends about me.